It's unclear if tonight's presser from the Australian Defence Minister will answer key questions or just create more questions. One big question is over the reporting we confirmed just minutes ago that these pings detected by Ocean Shield were actually at a frequency of 33.3 kilohertz. That's lower than the standard locator beacon frequency of 37.5 kilohertz. Does that cast more doubt on whether the signal is coming from the black boxes of Flight 370? Let's bring in our panel. Captain Tim Taylor is a submersible specialist and president of Tiburon Subsea Services. Steve Wallace is the former director of the Federal Aviation Administration's Office of Accident Investigation. And of course, Miles O'Brien is a CNN aviation analyst and science correspondent for PBS NewsHour. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Tim, I want to start with you. We now know that this frequency came in at 33.3 kilohertz, lower than the standard 37.5. Does that rule out that this is possibly from the black boxes?
No, not necessarily. The battery strength, water is a very diffuse medium and is full of layers of temperature and pressure gradients that can distort and reflect this. So I think that it is in the range. These manufacturers always say that they're plus or minus on the range as well, so they're not always right dead on. And if you factor all that in, it's the regularity of that hit. It's unnatural. It's not a biological type thing. It sounds man-made. So that in my book, does not count it out at all. This is actually, it's a credible hit, even if it's at 33 kilohertz.
Miles, we're going to get more into the frequency discussion later in the show. I want to play some sound now from the brother of one of the passengers, Flight 370 passenger Philip Wood from Texas. He was on Erin Burnett out front just a few moments ago.
At midnight last night, when I was watching the Australian spokesperson talk about this and the evidence that they'd found, I was actually really hopeful. As the day's gone on, it's been a little less so.
Let's take the temperature in the room here. Based on what we know right now, how confident are we that these are beacons from the black boxes, from the data recorders?
Well, everything I've heard from Tim, I'm not an expert on this aspect of it, everything I've heard from Tim and the U.S. Navy, you would express a lot of optimism that these are, in fact, the pingers. There's just no other explanation for what you'd be hearing in that metronome fashion at that frequency, plus or minus a few kilohertz. So that's the good news. It's quite possible they might have heard the last gasp of those pingers as the batteries died. Wouldn't that be an amazing stroke of luck and a little bit of bad luck, too? Having said that, just by being in that vicinity, even though they haven't had a chance to, acquire and reacquire so they can really home it down, that still puts them in an area where they've got a much more manageable haystack, if you will. And if they realize that the pingers aren't going to be doing any more work, they can get that side scan sonar down there and start the laborious effort of mapping the ocean floor.
Steve, what's your take? Just taking your temperature here, what do you think?
Right. I mean, I defer to Tim as Miles did. This news is perhaps the best news we've had. I'm also pleased that the officials in charge down there in Australia are treating it with a good measure of caution. So, and just to think back to the Air France accident where the pingers were long dead if they even worked, but we knew exactly where Air France went in the water. Perhaps these pingers, even if they are here on the 32nd day, as you said, if they're about to expire, perhaps they have given at least provided a much more precise location of where to start searching with the side scan sonar and the other assets.
And Tim, if the fact that the frequency was lower than the normal frequency was indeed because it was something of a last gasp from these pingers from their dying batteries, that would be remarkable luck that it was detected at that moment.
It would. These things don't necessarily just stop. They kind of taper down. I think what is a big factor in this is people need to understand that oceans are layers, and there's a layer in the ocean that has a propensity to channel these sounds, these frequencies, and run them for miles. So although the pinger only goes for a few miles, that sound could get in that channel and start bouncing and travel hundreds of miles away. So it's extremely important that they get more pings and triangulate on where it is, because they've got like one line of the map here. They need 3 or 4 more lines so they can vector in on it, and then the AUVs will be extremely effective. Right now, it still could be a very, very large AUV task at hand, if for lack of a better way to say that. It's still not narrowed down enough to make those AUVs the best choice. We need some more fixes, and hopefully tonight, when they get their report, or we hear it at midnight here, we'll know something more.
Miles, we know there are up to 14 planes out today in the search, 14 ships. Which are more important at this stage of the search, the planes or the ships?
Well, you know, this is just amazing, unprecedented in aviation that we've got pingers before a single piece of debris. A single piece of debris. It's remarkable.
If these are indeed the pingers.
Indeed. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. But the fact is, the planes perform a very valuable role right now in double checking this. I mean, it's quite possible there still is floating debris out there. One would suspect that would be the case. Is that aircraft intact at the bottom of the ocean? Was all that debris blown away by the cyclone that happened at the early part of the search? We don't know, but I'm just flabbergasted that we have what is potentially pingers without even a floating seat cushion.
And lastly, Steve, we heard a few days ago there was talk of nations pulling back their resources from the search, but our own Barbara Starr at the Pentagon reports that the nations involved in the search are now debating whether or not to send a supply ship, which would seem to suggest that they're in it for the long haul, I think. Is that what you take from that?
Yes, and this is just an absolutely unprecedented effort, and that suggests to me that this is going to go on. And you know, which asset is more important? I think there is an element of luck in this, and an aircraft might just spot a definitive piece of aircraft wreckage or debris. A ship might just zero in on these pings. So this is just an absolutely unprecedented international effort, and I think it's going to continue.
All right, Miles, Steve, Tim, stick around. We have lots more to discuss coming up.